This is the sound of small businesses owning it with Sage Accounting.
Renovation owned. Invoices sorted.
Clients workout owned. Expenses smashed. Tax return done.
Take control of your business with cloud accounting from Sage. Own it. Try for free at sage.com.
Welcome to the Honest Money Small Business Focus, sponsored by Sage. I'm Warren Ingram, the author of a few best-selling books, and I'm also an award-winning financial planner, and I've helped thousands of people on their journey to financial freedom. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I am here to share my experience and the best ideas that I've learned, and I hope these ideas help you on your journey to financial freedom. I'm really excited today to introduce you to Andile from Evergrow. Andile is an inspirational entrepreneur, frankly, as far as I'm concerned. Real figure to kind of talk about to our fellow South Africans about seeing an incredible opportunity and then not just looking at an opportunity and complaining about it, but looking at an opportunity and making a wonderful business. So, Andile, welcome to the show.
Yes. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, Warren. I'm still at awe at your profile, but you make mine sound pretty good.
Yeah, to kind of make, they talk about alchemists who make gold out of nothing, and I feel like you're making, health, business, nutrition out of nothing, which is just awesome. So I think you're working modern day miracles there, and I'd love it if you could, share with our listeners your story.
Yes. So, yes, the word is frugal innovation. Because you're basically bringing something from nothing and from thin air. My name is obviously Andile, and I grew up in the Eastern Cape, and I came to Joburg around 2017. And in 2018, I met another guy that I went to school with. We decided to start up Evergrow, and at that time we were looking into urban farming, and really, so the bulk of that year we spent researching and really trying to identify what we could come up with as a business. And at that time, urban farming and rooftop hydroponic farming was still something that is still catching up. It's gained more traction right now. But it was going on at that time. So that was really interesting for some guys that are fresh out of varsity. And later that year, so we started it in Soweto, and we started it from a backyard in Soweto, and we basically had no infrastructure, no inputs, no funding, except for the startup. Whatever we could scraps, we could put together. By the middle of that year, we had met programs that were supporting youth around urban agriculture. We pitched, and by the end of that year, we had, they took us onto their program. So it was an entrepreneurship development program. And from a formal education, we had no experience of what entrepreneurship is, no training, but the passion was the willingness to learn was there. So then we joined the guys. They broke it down. It was a 8-week program. They broke down the basics of entrepreneurship, what to pitch, how to pitch, what's a value proposition, and these were all new terms, and we were learning on the fly. And we came top of that program, because you had, at the end of the program, you had to pitch, and then if whatever you pitched sounded good, then you'd get some kind of assistance. So then basically we moved from five seedling trays, that's about 1,000 seedlings, at the back of our home in Soweto, to actually about 120 trays. That's 800 trays. That's about 120,000 seedlings. in a period of 1.5 years.
Wow.
Yes, and then we were located in Joburg, Braamfontein, and we worked with the guys for quite a while. And we're actually the sole supplier of seedlings while they were helping us develop our business for that period of a year. And recently, we then moved back to Soweto, and then we've actually increased our production by almost 40%. Now we're doing about 400,000 seedlings, and we're servicing both local market and around the country.
That's incredible, Andile. And so tell us a bit more about seedlings. So you're growing from seeds. You're growing plants to a particular level, a particular size, I guess, and then you're on selling those to people who carry on farming and growing them. Is that right?
Yes. So the main model of our business is it's farmer support. We're off farm infrastructure for farmers that don't have nursery capacity within their farm operations. I mean, for you to make a profit as a farmer, you need that kind of insight, but like not everyone can afford that. So that's where we come as an additional support to the farmer. So we source our seedlings from trusted seed suppliers, and these most of the time are recommended by the farmer, or our own research based on where we think where the farmer is and what climatic conditions we think would be best. So we then choose a cultivar for you. So basically we source trusted seeds, and we horticulturally trusted seeds, and then we also source production inputs to then facilitate the growth of the seed. This takes a period of 4 to 8 weeks, depending on the period of the year. Winter, it can take 8 to 10. Summer, it's 4 to 6. And those are basically the turnaround times. The business is sometimes a bit, seasonal, and yeah. I mean, we grow anything. So it's mostly leafy crops, but horticultural crops. I mean, we've got we do cucumbers, tomatoes, beetroot, spinach. Cabbage, and most of those. Yeah.
And Andile, those seedlings that you then on-sell to the farmers, and they then, I guess, grow them to maturity. Where do they then get sold? Are they sold at the retailers? Are they sold, kind of locally? How do they get sold?
Yes, that's an interesting question. So, I mean, the market is segmented yes. So somehow we are business to business, and then our business, our customers are farmers that have their operations, and then they would sell their produce to either informal market. They can sell their produce to local depots, such as the Joburg fresh produce market, and they can also sell to retail, which is your retail shops, and they can even go to restaurants and hotels, apart from selling to individuals and feeding schemes. So that's the scope of their market, as far as I'm concerned. But I mean, they have access to market based on their infrastructure and their and how developed each farmer is, and how big their operation is, and then they would have access to those individual markets. For now, we've been having access to farmers that are doing. We have access to farmers that are doing informal trade, that are selling to informal traders, such as your street hawkers, and things like that. And we're slowly getting into farmers that have that would sell to Joburg market, things like that. But like those are different types of farmers. So what separates them is the hectares they plant in. So some of them are less than 2 hectares, some of them are greater than 2 hectares, the annual income, the average age, and things like that.
And so when you're starting out, 2 young guys, in Soweto, are you literally doing that in your backyard? Those first trays of seeds that you were growing, were you doing it? It's not like you had a farm somewhere that you just decided to go and do this on.
Yes, literally backyard. It was literally a corner. It was It was 4 meters by 4 meters. And the space could only take about 25 trays at max. That's 5,000 seedlings. And I mean, our first customer said she wanted about 18 trays. I mean, it took us all night because at that time we were still even developing the skill of growing. So it took us the whole night to do those trays. But now in 5 hours, we can do 50 trays per person. So it's been crazy.
Unreal. And so that first customer, was that a farmer who was sort of close by, or was that someone outside of Soweto?
So that farmer was actually in the CBD. She was 45 kilometers in town. So from Soweto to town is about 45 k's. And her name was Puseleto, and she was a hydroponic rooftop farmer. And she saw what she was doing. She was interested, and she said, "Hey guys, if you can do this, I'll buy." You can imagine us running around looking for production inputs, looking for seeds, trying to get. We didn't even know what margin we were going to make on the sale. But I mean, so the pricing was very dependent on what the customers was willing to pay. And then later on, we then researched further, and then we found out what the market was looking for and what the market price was. And then we also just changed our pricing strategies based on our locations, our profile, and we learned pricing strategies.
So you're using kind of phrases and jargon now that make you sound like you've been to Harvard and studied a big MBA over there. Is this the skill when you start talking about margins and input costs and those things? Is this information and skills that you've learned along the way while you're building your business?
I've learned on the fly. I won't lie. I've learned on the fly. You get someone. So let's say you're looking for funding, and then you get someone saying like, what's the return on the investment, and you're stuck. You don't know how to move forward because you don't know what goes into giving that answer. And I hit that brick wall in 2018, 2019. I hit that brick wall. I was trying to get some, and then the investor just asked me, what's my return? If for once on one seedling, what's my, I was completely out of the conversation. And I went back to the drawing board. So going in, we came from a sciences background. So we never had the lingo. We learn every day. It's a continuous process that we take.
So now we're talking about a business that starts in 2018. So nearly 4 years later. How many people do you employ?
So the business, as I said, it started with it couldn't even. Imagine it couldn't support us when it started. So at the beginning, we actually had to be working while doing the business. So that means that we could only spend weekends on the business. And so at that time, we're both interning, and we pushed. And then later on, late 2019, early 2020, the business could actually take on one person. It could support one person and its own operations. And then right now, it's basically we're both fully employed, but we also create seasonal employees. So we can take up to 5 people during peak. And this growth has been realized just in the past 2 years. But even for us having our own infrastructure. So what had happened is that we never had infrastructure up until now, in the sense that we've never owned infrastructure. We have we leveraged. So leverage is a big word, but we asked the customer to provide us some support while we make their product.
And they were happy to do it.
Yes, so it was a big so I mean that's not all customers, but it was a big problem for that current customer, and they were willing to invest in that. And then so we basically helped them also develop that arm of the business, and that's how when we broke off from that relationship, we were also able to build our own business, but they also had that operation in their business now that they could move forward with.
Unreal. So to me, if I'm looking at it as kind of an outsider, I'm seeing two young guys who studied sciences, no clue on. It's not like you came from families with a huge history in business. You saw an opportunity.
Nothing.
You literally used what was on the corner. It sounds like literally on the corner from where you stay, and you just got going, and not listening to excuses or reasons why you couldn't do something. It was more about what could we do? How could we make it work?
That is the reality of it, because it was literally just putting one and one together. And when one and one doesn't work, there's no say this doesn't work. You say it's like it will work. It's not, there's no it doesn't work, it will work. And sometimes those iterations take 2 days, sometimes those iterations take 3 months. Sometimes they take a year, but it will work.
And so a business that that couldn't even pay itself or pay its founders is now comfortably paying its founders, comfortably owning its own stock and infrastructure, as you say, plus employing seasonal workers. What happens next?
So we still have a lot of challenges in the sense that. We approached a lot of entrepreneurship development programs, and this is what actually allowed us to understand how to manage money, because other people don't even know that you need a bank account. To separate bank account and your business has to pay you into your bank account. If you're taking direct from a business, that's a problem, and it's a risk for an investor. So things like that helped us get to this point. And so currently, the business right now is doing about 400,000 seedlings, but the target is in the next year or two is to get to 1 million seedlings per grow season, and maybe at least 5 million seedlings a year, and that is the target that we have. We're hoping to go. Currently we're working on a 600 square meter, and we're hoping to maybe get to like 10 to 15 hectares of seedling production. And we're still hoping to get certification. So certification is a market access. For you to access market, your operation has to be certified. And so we've been looking for stakeholders that do this kind of support. We're happy to say that we've come across one right now, and we're working through the audits training right now, trying to get our records in place. So as you can see, it does look like we have achieved some of success, but like one would have hoped to start where we are right now, and that would have been the start. So we're still very much in the starting phase of the business, getting all the pieces together of the business, getting the logistics right, getting customers to be able to buy easily without friction, because we also have those problems in small processes in the business. How does a customer call, get a quote, and get their product all in time? Those are still challenges that we're struggling with on a daily basis. Things like payroll, it's non-existent. So things like that, we're still working on those. And I think it's really important to highlight some of those current challenges and how we are trying to overcome them.
And I think it's a critical point that you make, that a lot of people starting a business for the first time, they don't even know the problems that exist. So they can't solve a problem if they don't know about it. And as you say, taking care of taxes, payroll, PAYE, sorting out the banking fees and all of that stuff it's important things that a lot of entrepreneurs just wouldn't even think of. That they're just trying to get through the day and sort out the customer.
Yes. So it's really critical too. I mean, SAICA, an entrepreneurship development academy by SAICA, was very instrumental in us learning these things because they take us on a monthly basis, go through our financials, ask us what we did, and check on us. And then on every 3 months or 2 months, then we'd have like a webinar or something then that would walk us through these things. So these are things you don't just wake up and know. You have to be in circles where they are being educated. There's education around these, and I think it's a really big gap in the country, a knowledge gap. How do you move from just an idea to a business? And so there are a lot of challenges under entrepreneurship and starting businesses in the country.
Now I'm guessing when you started, it's not like you approached the first customer, they said yes, and everything started out. I'm assuming you had to approach a lot of customers. You got a lot of no's before you got some yeses.
So the no's. So imagine it's the it's the idea whereby you're like, okay, I'm gonna grow lettuce. I'm sure restaurants want lettuce. You go around, you're looking for restaurants. Restaurants like, no, I've got suppliers. No, you can't meet my quantities, and then so we first tried to grow the veggies ourselves, hydro veggies, and we saw that there was a problem in there was already a supply going, but when we looked back to who's supplying, and then we saw that the guys that are supplying are having challenges. So maybe how about we reorientate our solution to target those guys? And then that was 8 months in its own, but that was also under one of the entrepreneurship developer academies. So they said that they gave us they told us to make questionnaires and go get customers, because one of the things they said that you kind of need, they taught us that what is it, service level agreements or what is it, letter of intent. So they say, go look for a letter of intent. And we literally, took a taxi from Joburg, and we were walking from Soweto to Joburg, and we were walking the streets of Joburg, going to restaurant by restaurant, trying to find, filling out those questionnaires, getting what their challenges are, and we even did this in Pretoria, and that was just getting an understanding of the customer that was not going to be our customer even at that point. So I don't know if that kind of shows how big that the mind shift has to be.
It reminds me of the world boxing champion Mike Tyson. He's not famous for his intelligence, but I think he was a clever guy, because he said, everyone's got a plan until they get hit, and it's only after you get hit that you start to realize you might have to change your plan. And it sounds to me like you had a plan, and you realized you needed to adapt on the fly, and figure it out, and figure out a new plan, new opportunities, and then just keep going.
Yes, exactly, and it was just that, just iterate and move forward.
And to me, that's such a powerful lesson for entrepreneurs. Firstly, you're going to get a lot of people who tell you no, who tell you can't do something, who tell you there's no demand, or you're not going to be good enough, or you're not going to make it. And the point is, to not be disheartened by what they're saying, but listen to the information, because they're also giving you feedback. They're giving you pointers about the opportunities that are there. You might just need to be flexible in your approach.
Yes, it's we had this thing that we were using. The term we're using was flexible but rigid, in the sense that we were rigid in what we wanted to achieve, but flexible how we would get there. So yeah, definitely.
Well, Andile, we are running out of time. This has been so interesting for me, and I always have one question that I ask our entrepreneurs, and that's if you had to look back now to Andile as he was about to leave university and start out, knowing what you know today, what would be the one lesson you would want to tell yourself about business or about entrepreneurship?
Sure, it's a big one. I mean, I think, coming from a formal education system, things are not really given, but, the path is laid up in front of you, and you just have to check those boxes moving forward. Moving into entrepreneurship, there's no boxes, there's no path. When you close your eyes, the business is sleeping. So I wish he knew that a bit earlier. He probably would have done a few things differently, but still, we do understand that you are who you are because of the choices that you have taken. So I also appreciate the choices that were taken till now, but understanding that you are the engine, and if you're not constantly growing, the business is gonna stagnate, and you are gonna and then you'll find all sorts of things to blame. You'll blame funding and things like that, but no, it's probably you, my guy.
That's such a powerful lesson to everybody. And I think entrepreneurs are successful because they find reasons to make things work, not other people to blame. Andile Xaza, I just want to say thank you so much. I wish you all the success, and I'm going to be following Evergrow as you go, and I hope to see your seedlings all around the country being sold, everywhere possible. And thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Warren and Graham. Thank you to the team that put this thing together, and thanks to the listeners that are going to tune in. And thanks so much, guys.
Thank you for listening to Honest Money. If you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me on Twitter. My handle is @WarrenIngram. Don't forget to subscribe. We're on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Chat soon.